try pushing you back a little bit? I'm gonna try that and see if that might help. The mic is pretty far away, so that should be fine. See if YouTube actually works. Okay, we got a viewer, so we're live. That's good. Another viewer? Okay, we're definitely live. So I came up with a name for basically a time that me as the creator and you guys as my fans can get together to just talk as fan to viewer. Or fan to viewer. Fan to creator, excuse me. Jesus. So hello to viewers. I have tried everything in my power to make this mic more quiet because listening back to the streams, I get loud as crap volume. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it away as far as I can to hopefully get a good signal, but to also not ring the crap out of your ears. Like I've tried to adjust the volume levels, but it just does not want to recuperate. So I don't know. It's just weird. So yeah, it's just a fun talk like fan to me stream. You can talk about things however you want. You can talk to me about anything pony, outside of pony. Just don't ask anything personal like, address or anything like that. Personal shit that, fans shouldn't be asking. Let me make sure there's nothing in here that's going to lag the stream. Okay, that needs to go bye-bye. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'll wait for more people to get in here. That's loud, or not loud, hot. Okay. Okay, either YouTube is derping or I don't know. All right, we have a comment. Hello, Devilicious. Unless you've changed it, I don't know. But yeah, this is basically just a talk from creator to fan stream. Like basically, this is like a meet and greet kind of thing. Like you can ask me anything. Not sure how long I'm gonna go. Basically, until my voice says no more. Like I can only talk for a certain amount of time before it says, "Hey, dude, we're done." If there's anything wrong, let me know because sometimes the audio on the mic tends to be a bugger. Like it tends to clip in and out. So basically, the rules of the stream are just ask me questions. Anything, minus like public like private information. That's what I mean. Like, just don't ask private stuff and we're okay. I have tried to turn the volume down on my interface to 50%. So maybe that might do something? I don't know. Like, tell me if this gets louder. Like, did that get louder? Oh, wow. That's pretty high. Like, did that get louder? Did the mic volume get louder? I'm trying to get this fixed, but for some reason, it's just a bugger. You don't see a difference. Okay, it's the mic levels on the computer that's doing that then. I'm just going to pulse a little closer. Just so we get a decent signal. Sometimes it takes a minute for people to get notified because YouTube is a bugger. I apologize for the horrible camera quality, but that's just how this computer runs. So yeah, once again, rules of the stream. Just ask me anything as a content creator, and you guys, the fans, whatever you want. It's like it's kind of like a Q&A kind of thing. Right into the stream and popped in. Welcome. Jeez. Anything I need to check before I do this? I'm trying to think. Okay, at least we're getting a good amount of viewers. That's good. I probably should have put the rules in the description, but that's okay. Yeah, you should do your homework. Like, if there's anything that I learned from school, get your homework done before it's too late. Unless it's something that you just don't know, then go to the teacher the next day. Well, there's no school right now, like no public schooling. So basically, the best thing that you can do is ask the teacher. I mean, I don't know how school's working right now. I guess it's online teaching. I don't know. I'm so glad I'm out of school because this would just be ridiculous. The elephant in the room. I'm just having morning coffee. Don't mind me. But you can ask me anything. Mine is private information. Anything. The stream's actually starting out pretty slow. Is my diaphragm? Yeah, it's the right way. Sorry, let me see if I can adjust this a little better. Guess it really doesn't matter from this angle. Just trying to think if I need to check anything before I do this. I've checked Twitter. I checked Discord. Anything else? Check my email. Nope, nothing else. Because the premiere isn't until tomorrow. I can type today. The garbage man. Is that the garbage man? Hello, bees. Melis? I don't know. Basically, this is a Q&A stream, so basically, it's me talking to you guys as the fans. Whatever you want to do. Mine's private information. No, that wasn't the garbage man. He must be going up the other street first. Did I send that message? Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, brain don't want to work. Okay, bees. Hello, bees. Even though I'm kind of scared of bees because I got stung by a whole hive as a kid. I really should not be drinking that for a stream, but whatever. I'm not doing narration, so that's the part that's the important part. And let me know if just something's up with the mic quality. I'm hearing myself fine, so that's okay, I guess. I don't know. The mic's positioned pretty good, but I don't know what's going on with the freaking mic levels. I don't know how to adjust them to hold still. So it's got to be YouTube. Quality sounds all right. Okay, that's good. It's not meant to sound like, my narration quality. Well, technically that's not. This isn't even the narration quality. The narration quality is edited in post editing. So basically, the gist is ask me questions, whatever you want to do. Thinking about doing this every Friday because I think it would be a good thing. Like, just get to know my viewers better. Talk to my viewers. Ow. And if you haven't checked the community tab, what was the latest post? Oh, that shit. If you haven't checked the community tab, one, there's going to be a premiere tomorrow at 5 p.m. my time. Which for the Pacific Coasters is 4 p.m. Mid is 6 p.m. and East is 7 p.m. How did I come up with my OC? My OC honestly wasn't even thought of in my head. Like one day, me and my friend Mark were on a call, and what happened was we just were talking, and all of a sudden he asked me, "What would you want your OC to look like?" And I just literally came up with this off the top of my head. Oh, black with blue eyes, gray mane with like a Rainbow Dash style mane. Like that's literally what I came up with off the top of my head. I really didn't have a concept design for him, nor did I really have an idea for an OC. I mean, I had some ideas, but turns out he got it commissioned. I mean, looked like it cost him an arm and a leg. Like it was only like $5, but yeah, he got it commissioned without me knowing, and I wanted to kick his butt. But he's a good friend. I mean, he's sent me some stuff from the UK. I've got a pillow from his Teespring store for free. He had to pay like £15 to get it, which US currency, I think that's around $19 or $20. It's not cheap, which really bugged me. I'm like, dude, would you stop spending money on me? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's understandable with the other gifts because they were for Christmas. Was that Christmas? I think it was because I think they didn't get here around Christmas time, but they were close to Christmas time, like close to after Christmas time, something like that. At least your OC doesn't remind half of your viewers of a pudding. Okay. But after my OC was finally formed and had a backstory, I thought deeper about what his colors represented. The black and gray normally represents something like a dark nature or something dark and not very happy. Like how do I put this? Like depression, things that are just dreadful and horrible. Which Inky's curse is to live a life of misery. He's not meant to live a life of happiness. He's meant to live a life of misery. That's his curse. Like once he gets a family and even a kid along the way, he basically is like fate strikes him and he basically is forced to face misery again by living a life as a loner. He basically does it to keep his family safe. Like he's still got a wife and he's still got a kid, but he has to stay away to protect them because he's afraid his powers will overpower him and he'll end up hurting them on accident. Like that's literally it. The blue eyes represent my eyes because I have blue eyes. His cutie mark of a black heart with that gray outline so you could see it, and the golden quill. Black heart represents like the darkness in his soul because I don't know, it's just me. They say the soul is like in the center of your core, but I feel like your core is more towards your heart, but I don't know. But it's basically meant to represent his past and his curse. And the golden quill is to represent his gift in writing, which, if you don't know, I started out in a totally different fandom under not a different name, but basically I was under a different fandom and I was a fan fiction writer, and that's really where I got my start. Honestly, it was really where the start of my career began. Like I started out as just a fan fiction writer, the first fan fiction I ever wrote still gains traffic to this day. Last time I checked, it was like 60K or something like that. I don't remember, but it still gains traffic, which is nuts. Just a cute little love story, but that's it. I mean, Inky was just something I came up with off the top of my head, and I just thought about it. And that's it. Messi doesn't have a key mark. Actually, almost all of my OCs don't have key marks, mainly because they're either oh my god, mainly because they're either unable to get one or they're non-ponies, mostly griffins. Yeah. Inky was born with this cutie mark. He wasn't really ever given a chance to choose his destiny, like his fate. His fate was decided from the moment he was born. There's like a whole story behind it on why he ended up the way he was. And it's actually really sad. Like how he, as a child, well, not even a child yet, he was basically still the thing that you start out with as a human being. Yeah. Well, that basically every creature starts out as before they're even, like, fertilized. Hello, Ninja Droid. My day's been good. I'm just having morning coffee and chatting with you guys. Coffee is the last thing you want to be drinking when you're talking a lot, but whatever. So basically, your OC was born with his key mark already earned. How does that work? Well, the cutie mark is less a cutie mark to represent his destiny and more of a mark of a curse. Like, I don't know how to explain it. His father was an ignorant guy that basically was, like, how do I put this? He delved in the dark arts and basically went too far and ended up getting his soul corrupted by a darkness. It became too much for him, so he ended up basically just passing on part of his curse into Inky by basically having a one-night stand with one of his with Inky's mother. Oh god, what was her name? Sapphire or something. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think her name was Sapphire, if I remember correct. Like I said, it's been a while. But basically, his mother gets impregnated by him, and Inky gets the curse passed on to him. The father thinks that it basically helps to get rid of his his curse, but it's the total opposite. Basically, he figures out eventually that the curse is still within him, and he can't control it unless he drinks himself to death. So he becomes an alcoholic. By basically not being there fully in the mind, he basically manages to keep the curse dormant. So there you go. Well, it's not really a curse; it's more of an interbeing, like a darker manifestation of darkness. Like, I don't know how to explain it. My friend's key mark would also have a curse type deal. Hello, TXT Savage, by the way. But basically, that's the whole ordeal. Now, excuse me, by the way. But when it was passed on to Inky, he was just a child. Like, it was just a foal. But he excelled in everything that he did, and that was the curse working. Like, it passed on and made him different. Like, he had the ability to basically do things that most cults wouldn't even be able to do at their age. The Dark Author is cursed by a demon. Nice. Now, I want to write more on Inky, but I just haven't had the time, and I just don't know how to start it. Like, it's gone through so many different stages. There's one where Inky meets his father and doesn't kill him, but basically lets him know, I hate you, because he cursed him with this. So he has no reason to like him at all. Hence his chains. Interesting. Kind of reminds me of that cover art of, oh god, which God of War is that? Ascension? Yeah, I think so. Ascension. When Kratos is held down by the chains. Yeah, I believe so. That was I think that was Ascension. But the whole point is that Inky is better than his father because he doesn't resort to things like alcoholism to control his like his inner darkness from controlling him. He has something else. He has family and happiness. So he basically manages to go against his entire curse and manages to get rid of it. Well, not to get rid of it, but basically by having something to keep it dormant, like happiness, he can't let it be fully manifested. However, going away from his family to keep them safe basically kills that thing that keeps it dormant, and now he's faced with a whole different thing. Like he's having these nightmares. He's feeling like a difference come over him. He's getting more powerful. He feels something isn't right, and he feels like this darkness is like taking over his soul, and that's what's happening. Like he goes completely out on his own on the back roads of Equestria to, well, it's not even Equestria yet. Like Inky was born in the days before Celestia and Luna were even a thing. He even helped to construct the Canterlot Castle, but basically got out of Dodge before, like he was even offered to be a scholar, but he turned it down because of his curse. Like he could have potentially put, students in danger and all that stuff. So he just wanders the back roads of Equestria. But that's it. But once he figures out that something's wrong with him, that's where the things are kind of stuck. Like, I don't know how he's going to figure out that he has a darkness within him. The only person who could tell, or pony who could tell him that, is his father, which is the last guy he'd want to meet. If only you would have seen the Dark Reindeers MLP creepypasta series based on the Cuff story. This was a great one. Okay, the Cuff was actually a really good one. Like based on the OG MLP, like Grimdarks. That's one of the better ones. Honestly, it is. It doesn't really need a motive or anything. It already is set in the setting. Like it's already there. It's already present on what is going on. There's a virus around that is spread by the cough. So the mystery of them being in complete darkness. Why are they in darkness in the first place? But basically, they're in darkness. Someone coughs, and you don't know who it is. That's a good setup, and it builds suspense. Hello, Nightmare Moon. Hello, Carl Hunt, by the way. But basically, the whole thing is the aspect of mystery. That's what I really like about the cough. You don't know who the hell is the culprit. If it was Fluttershy or not, you have no idea. There's actually no confirmation that it was even Fluttershy. Like she could just be giving herself up to escape the freaking hell that they're in. You never know these things. And I love how it ends when someone else coughs and you have no idea who it is. I think the only one who really knows that is the voice actor that actually coughs. If it's even a voice actor that's doing it, it could be a sound effect. It was kind of in the style of 28 Pranks Later or Twilight's Transmissions. So found footage type thing. The series is told through audio recordings of people ponies, trying to live and find the cure and origins of the virus. I'm fine with people doing, spin-offs of my story. I don't mind it. I'm not going to write a sequel to it, but as long as you have my permission, that's fine. I don't really care. I like to see people take ideas off of other people. It's like Chrysalis' Revenge. That's based off of the inspiration came from Magpie's The Friendship Test, but it's different. I didn't make it the same old song and dance. I made the choices of victim completely random, and I made the punishments a lot more worse. Plus, there was multiple choices that you could have chosen. Sorry, there's multiple choices that you could have chosen. You could either spin the wheel again. You could either send the person to their will not send them to their death. Hang on, it's been a while. You could either choose to do something horrible to them, spin the wheel again and let fate decide, or sacrifice yourself. That was the thing. No, I've been watching all acts of Puppet to Her Fame by Scribbler. It was cool and dark at the same time. That's one I've heard that is really good. I just never have gotten around to reading it. It's too long. But I don't know. Maybe one of these days. I know. I need to really catch up on things. No, it wasn't a spin-off. It was in the similar style of it. Transmissions and recordings from a person in danger. That's fine. I mean, found footage is one of my favorite kind of horror aspects if it's done correctly. Like, did I really care for the Blair Witch Project when it was like a big thing? Well, first I was too young. Hello, Max Funk, by the way. I was way too young, so I couldn't really watch it. But when I did watch it, yeah, it's done very well. I really like the aspect of it, the atmosphere. The creepiest scene, I think, is not the one in the house when basically they get killed. It's the freaking night when the kids are in the woods, like, you can hear their laughter in the distance. That's fucking creepy. That is some creepy shit. Very good atmosphere. And there's a whole theory behind it that the two guys set up to kill the girl, which could be a thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Blair Witch maybe the Blair Witch was them. I don't know. The hardest MLP creepypastas for me to sit through are the Friendship Test and Butterflies. Hard as in what? That they're boring and cliche, or that they're actually very disturbing and it's hard to sit through and listen to this kind of thing? Because if it's the latter, yeah, I understand. The Friendship Test was really hard for me to sit through. But that was the point. It was for Halloween, the day that's scary stuff is at its finest. Butterflies was very disturbing, even though it makes zero sense. The whole aspect of that, the scene where they freaking just like out of freaking dash, yeah, that was very, very gross. I can't read Russian. Greetings from Russia. If I knew how to say hello in Russian, I would, but hello. Greetings from America. Butterflies doesn't make sense because of this. Okay, butterflies do lay eggs, but where Fluttershy puts them, she puts them right in the intestines. So the larvae, if they can withstand the temperature of your body, which is about 98 degrees, it's either going to disintegrate from the heat or it's going to end up going out two directions, either right out your bum hole or right up into the stomach acid. So the stomach acid would kill it immediately because your stomach acid is really, really hot. Like it's like acid. Like it's not like, hydrofluoric acid. It's like, but to a larvae, yeah, it'd kill it instantly. So it's going to die one way or another. The body heat would probably kill it first, unless it didn't slither like right out the bum hole like that quick. I'm not being gross, guys. That's just that's the logic. It's how the body works. The larvae aren't strong enough to bite through. I mean, yes, they're not composers. What's the word? Consumers. That's the word. Butterflies are consumers, yes, but larvae aren't. The larvae aren't strong enough to bite through like an intestine wall. It's either going to go out one of the two directions, and either way, the body heat might kill it before that happens. I listened to the Twilight transmissions. Honestly, I'm confused by the ending. The ending is meant to leave you with a sense of mystery. Let me try that again. It's meant to leave you with a sense of mystery. You're not supposed to know what happens at all. It's up to you to decide what happens. Dash is basically this thing. Like, you don't know what she is. You just go basically off what's Twilight saw and what they kind of found in the containment. I don't understand your language, but I look anyway to you. It's fine, bud. It's fine. Like, I don't know Russian, but I don't even know. Well, that's German. That's not Russian. Sorry, I was thinking of the Hitler meme with like 9999, which means no. But no, that's not Russian. But yeah, it's fine if you look up to me. I really appreciate it. Nope, I don't know. Thank you. I don't know. Like, thank you in Russian. Like, the whole aspect of the ending is to go off of what is given to you. Basically, okay, hang on. Twilight was found with the same symptoms as Dash, but was she a hybrid like Dash, or just normally infected? Because she was clearly infected. I assume she was a hybrid because she had the red eyes. Okay, Twilight was not a hybrid like Dash because she wasn't inserted with the dragon blood. What the dragon blood did to Dash was converted her into something else. Twilight just took forever to die. To die because she was an alicorn. Alicorns are immortal, but even eventually something has to kill them. The virus just took longer to fight against the immortality and to convert her into something else. The virus kills the main host, but brings them back as something else. I'll just say that. She was not Twilight anymore. She was the result of whatever the virus turned you into. Like, Dash died. She actually did die, but the dragon blood made it worse. The dragon blood converted her into some sort of hybrid. But Twilight died naturally, and then the virus kicked in and turned her into something else. That's all I can really say without anything else. The red eyes are it's kind of like the, what did they call it? The rage virus, I think, is the one from 28 weeks later or 28 days later. It's basically like that. The red eyes are to represent that they are not them anymore. They are basically, and that's also why the bodies were burned. Think about that for a minute. Why would they burn bodies? Why would they burn the dead bodies of Ponyville? Because they saw that Twilight had turned into a monster of some sort after the virus had killed them. So they wanted to get rid of any other, like, zombie or whatever. Like, it could be a hybrid kind of zombie. Like, she was turned into a monster, basically. She wasn't Twilight anymore. She was a monster. So that's basically what happened to Twilight. That's why the guy had her put down. Well, not put down, but eliminated, terminated, whatever he said. What was his name? Captain Stronghoof? Something like that. I like you because you are very respectful to your fans. Some of my fans, as long as they're respectful back to me. But thank you, Ninja Droid. I really appreciate that. I try to be as respectful to my fans as possible because you guys are like the blood and soul of the channel. But the red eyes confused me because the other ones didn't have the red eyes. It's because they weren't dead yet. I based it heavily off of, like, The Strain. If you've never seen the show, you don't understand. Basically, the pilot episode happened. A plane trip basically gets interrupted by the main runner of the show, like the master. And the master gets transported to New York, and the plane lands and is completely unresponsive. So they go inside, and they find that almost every passenger is dead. Like, there's no like, sign of, like, trauma or anything. Only 2 little slits, like right here in the neck, 2 little tiny punctures. They're all converted into, like, vampires, but they haven't fully been converted yet. It takes time. Like, they have to go through a certain process because it reforms your anatomy, and it basically, your hair starts falling out, you lose your junk. Yeah, that kind of crap. So it takes a while for the infection to convert you into a monster. So it's kind of like that. So basically, the captain said, burn them before they can convert. They were dead, but they were going to come back as the monsters. So burn them and get rid of them before they can even turn into monsters. And it affects people, and it affects the pony differently. Some can take a day to convert, some can take weeks. It's all in how it works. But this one doesn't reform your anatomy or anything like that. It just turns you into a monster. Like, they're not zombies. I wouldn't say they're zombies. They're something else. Like some sort of monstrosity. Because notice that Twilight didn't like go for the neck. She was basically just a mindless monster that attacked any who dared to approach her. However, the story is my favorite because it delves into the mind of Twilight, watching her slowly go insane. I don't know why I love that aspect of horror. Well, she wasn't going insane. She was just so sleep deprived, and she was so exhausted mentally and physically. The virus was eating away at her. She was basically just slowly dying. She wasn't going insane. She was just losing. Okay, she was going a little insane, but she was losing her mind and losing her ability to function as like a regular pony. Like, she was going a little insane, but she still had her head on straight. The virus was playing with her, and it was sleep deprivation, all that stuff. It was all playing on her mind mentally and physically and time. And that's what I intended. I wanted each and every passing day to slowly eat away at her. Like, there's that moment of you think you've got the cure, but then it turns out to be a total mess. And then she starts blaming herself for like the deaths of ponies and Spike, of course. But she's trying to fight it to the very end, but just can't do it. Oh, they were killed before the virus. Yes, exactly. Hello. Oh, Jesus, that name. Hello, Calistin Night Dust. Calistine Night Dust? I don't know. I'm terrible with names. Insane wasn't exactly the best way to put it. Like, her mindset was deteriorating and slowly succumbing to the paranoia and the virus. Yes, exactly. Like, she was paranoid of the monster upstairs, like breaking out of her cell, and it was very close to breaking out of her cell. She was paranoid of like just the state of the world, failing to find a cure, and just losing herself along the way. Like, literally, that's the best way to put it. So for newcomers, the point of this stream is for me to just connect to you guys, to talk to my fans. You can ask me anything except private information sort of questions. You can ask me about my content, anything about G4, Pony Life, even my thoughts on G5, anything like that. I've got a ping on Discord. Let me guess, it's not going to show up. Of course not. Why would it? Oh, there it is. I'm watching the stream. Lol. Oh, okay. Laney's watching. I don't know which one it is. Ouch. Also, my apologies for getting heated up with you on the Dark Author account. Oh. I see what you're referring to. I know what you're referring to now. I remember that comment. What did he say that pissed me off? Well, it didn't piss me off. It was just kind of disrespectful. Like, I can't remember. On the Dark Author account, I was confused and suffering from depression at the time. So sorry. As long as you're willing to admit to, what you did wrong, I forgive you. Like, honestly. Unless it's something serious, then I may not forgive you. Like, yeah, something that's unforgivable. But I had no idea what you were talking about when it came to the Dark Author. I'm like, huh? But yeah, I can't remember what the Dark Author said. I think he was like picking the story apart or something like that. And I basically ranted his ass. Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't fully understand it, and I was depressed. So sorry about that one, mate. I'm in a much healthier mindset right now. It's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Honestly, don't worry about it. We all make mistakes. We're all human. I mean, as long as you're willing to admit to your mistakes and not be a jackass in return after you've apologized, then you're fine. Like, I don't remember exactly what the Dark Author said. I think he was picking something apart that, oh, I remember now. He was basically stating that the virus could have been like prevented because Canterlot was like 10 miles away. No, it's not. It's like an overnight trip. Unless you're Twilight, who can, like, teleport. But it's like I said a million times, since the virus is spread through, pony to pony and it's airborne, you can, if she went to Twilight, or excuse me, if she went to Celestia, she would spread the virus even further. So there you go. That's why Celestia stayed where she was and didn't even leave the castle. Plus, we've already confirmed Celestia has a lot of work on her plate. We saw this in a real problem. She has tons of paperwork, so she has a lot to get, through before she can see Twilight's message. It's not like a magical thing that just appears right in front of her. I heard that you have a very beautiful nature in America. I would like to visit your country. Stay away from America, if I'm being honest. Stay away. I mean, honestly, this country has gone from like one of the best countries to the worst. I hate to say that about my own country, but given what is going on right now, it's just shit. It's shit. I mean, the riots, the chaos, the everything about this country is just it's not good anymore. You guys might look at me a little crazy by wearing a hoodie in summer. It's actually pretty cold here. Like, it's actually one of those overcasty days where it's actually cold. I am the Dark Author. I wasn't talking about the virus being prevented. I was annoyed by the ending because I didn't understand, so I tried to pick it apart. Oh. Dude, honestly, it's fine. As long as you're willing to admit, to your mistake, it's fine. Like, I thought that you were talking about the guy who responded to the it's what is it? Hang on, it's been a while. I gotta think. Because I think someone responded to it, backing up your claims and call me an asshole or something like that. But as long as you're willing to, talk and reason, admit you were wrong, that's fine. I honestly forgive you. It's nothing that I'm going to hold a grudge against you. Though I did end up blocking the account because I was sick and tired of dealing with it. I mean, I've dealt with enough hate comments and all that stuff. I was getting a lot of spam comments at the time. I wasn't in the best mindset either. But, I mean, as long as you're willing to listen to, what I have to, and let me explain where you may have misinterpreted something rather than just immediately saying that I'm an asshole, at least you're willing to come onto a stream and admit you were wrong. Thank you, and I forgive you. Especially considering you're an aspiring creator. Like, I've been in your shoes, but just a hint of advice. Unless you know what you're talking about, don't comment something like that on someone's work, because it's only going to end up bad. Like, honestly. Excuse me. No, I am mature for the age of Huh? No, I am mature for the age of 16. If I fuck up, I'll admit it. That's good. That's a good mindset to have. Thank you very much for apologizing. I really appreciate it. Okay. Don't worry, Ninja Droid. I saw your comment. What do you think G5 of MLP is going to be about? Well, if the synopsis that I saw, like I said, this was way back, right after G5 was announced. Well, it's not what it wasn't announced. It was just basically confirmed. But there was some little things revealed about it. If they follow what's gonna happen, like what the world's like, it was like very Games of Thrones kind of feel, like different capitals and different worlds, like, well, not different capitals, but different kingdoms. I don't know where it's really going. I would really like to see that. That'd be awesome. Like, don't go full great Games of Thrones. Like, just kind of keep that like separate kingdoms that are divided kind of thing. That'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. But as for the plot and all that, it's starting out as a movie, so that's interesting enough. So I don't know where they're really going with G5. I just hope it's good. I mean, Pony Life has been fun so far. I mean, people can hate me for liking it. I don't give a shit. I enjoy it. That's basically the word that's basically able that I react with friends on like Mondays after the episodes have been leaked. We basically watch it, and the word that's basically there to describe the majority is enjoyable and fun. Like, they're not meant to be a deep plot. It's meant to just be a very, very simple, fun thing for mainly kids, but it can apply to adults as well. I mean, I'm an adult. I enjoy it. I'm a simple guy. It's for the simple-minded people. Your type of format from the Twilight transmission inspired me to do something similar, but with a different franchise. It follows a doctor studying a virus, but things don't go well. Sounds like Resident Evil, honestly. Honestly, it does. Even though the difference between Resident Evil and that is that in Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation creates this out just basically to cause chaos, if I remember correct. So thanks for writing a freaking amazing, awesome story. Not a problem. That's why I create them. And thank you again for apologizing. I'll see if I can. Like I said, my brain tends to be a bugger sometimes. I'll see if I can't after the stream unblock you. I appreciate you actually owning up and just listening to me as the creator of it, to explain where you may have misinterpreted things. Ninja Droid. I would like to visit America after all the crap of this pandemic. God knows when it's going away. Like, God knows when it's going away. If it ever does go away. I won't get into it because that's political. It's about Left 4 Dead 2. Again, I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know Left 4 Dead. I know it's about zombie like apocalypse type of deal, but that's literally it. It's a zombie game, in case you don't know. It's studying the green flu virus because it isn't explained well in the games. Well, that sounds interesting. Kind of seems very Resident Evil-y again. Like, I think the Resident Evil... Oh, God, what's the virus called? Fudge. I can't remember what they call it. But the virus that basically turns everybody into zombies. I can't remember what it's called. But that seems very Silent Hill, or not Silent Hill. Very Resident Evil-y, but that's okay. It's good to have inspiration of something. Like, okay, here's how I put, getting inspiration from something and where it's good and where it's bad. As long as you take inspiration from something and use your own ideas to come up with your own ideas, that's fine. You're not copying it. You're not plagiarizing the content. Now, if you dead on just copy it and use the same exact elements that it does, replay it like word for word, like the Disney fucking remakes, yeah, that's plagiarism. So yeah, huge crime. Don't ever plagiarize. It's a humongous crime that can land you in jail. But it's like what I've said. People said I copied. Some people say I copied the friendship test with Chrysalis' Revenge. No, I did not. I actually added my own little ideas to it. For one, in the friendship test, in the what was the first one? The whip on the back or the stick on the back thing. Yeah, you know who's gonna die because it goes in a sequence. So you know who's gonna get the most hits. So you know who's gonna die. So what I did with mine was I made the choices random. It was a wheel of choice that randomly landed on some pony to be tested. Excuse me, to be basically the guinea pig, and it was up to Starlight to make the choice. Like that's literally what it was. So yeah, that's basically a difference right there. Because in the friendship test, you knew who was going to die when they chose when they chose their option. I made it random, so there you go. Trying to think. Yeah, and it doesn't like go through multiple tests like the friendship test did. It actually sticks to only one thing, and I based the main thing, the wheel of choice, on one of my favorite Saw traps of all time from the movies. I don't even remember which film it's from. I think it's from like Saw. No, that would have been 5. That would have been Saw 4. No, that was with the cop. It wasn't 6 either. Maybe it was 5. God, man, it's been a while. It's basically the shotgun carousel. It's the one with the guy that basically fucks John Kramer over. I can't remember which one it is. Depending on how many movies there were. Like, I can't remember them all. But basically, it's the one with the shotgun carousel. The shotgun carousel was one of my favorite traps because I love the concept design of it and I love what it looks like. I mean, sure, it's a very, very, very messed up trap, but it's a good trap. I like this concept of it, and that's what the Wheel of Choice is based off of. Hey, Sparrow, I really like it when you tell creepy stories of MLB. Thank you. It's really, really nice to know. Dominic Smith. Oh, hey, a name I can actually freaking pronounce. Okay. TXT Savage. Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't explain the virus whatsoever, so I wanted to try to explain it through my own eyes. That's why a scientist is documenting the virus, because the games don't do that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Like trying to figure out the virus itself that caused everything to happen. Shotgun Carousel is 6. Okay, so there were 7 movies. The guy's name is William Easton. Yeah, he's the insurance guy, the health insurance dude that fucks John Kramer over. That was the heavy thing with Saw 6 that people didn't like. Yeah, the shotgun carousel is what the Wheel of Choice was based off of, and it was random. Like whoever landed on the timer, yeah, it was either the guy gets pierced through the hand or they die from a shotgun shot right to the freaking chest. Yikes. I just really liked the design of that, and it really just reminded me of I like the Wheel of Choice. I wanted the Wheel of Choice to look like that, even though it's not exactly like the shotgun carousel. It's more like they land on a certain thing and they have 3 choices. Well, Starlight has 3 choices. 1, you either do something horrible that relates to like their destiny. 2, spin the wheel again and allow destiny to decide who dies. Or 3, she sacrifices herself. Many people argue that Starlight should have just chosen choice 3 from the start, but put yourself in Starlight's hooves, in her situation. You're in a place that you have no idea where you are. You are in a situation where it's life or death, and your friends are in danger, very big danger. You're not thinking straight, and you're not thinking of the easiest way out. You have to. That's the point that I've tried to make with multiple people. Starlight can't just get up and walk out because, well, Chrysalis is in charge. She's there, and she's easily going to overpower Starlight. Like, she could have put a freaking spell to prevent pony magic. She could have used the charge from her thing, her carousel, her throne. I mean, honestly, there's many ways that this could have been prevented, but Starlight isn't trying to. She's not thinking straight. She's not thinking of the easiest way out. She's trying to figure out what the hell's going on and what to do the bet and what she should be doing. So she's not thinking choice 3 is best. It takes her to come to realization of she's putting her, like, she's hurting her friends, like, she's not hurting her friends, but she's torturing her friends for no reason when she could have just chosen choice 3 from the start. That's the point. It takes her a minute to come to realization, and after Applejack suffers one of the most worst ones, she. Sorry. Show that. But Starlight is in a situation where it's life or death. You're not thinking of the easiest way out. It takes her until Applejack gets her limbs hacked off, and she's forced to do it at massive speed and hurt Applejack by basically missing the limb like multiple times before she finally gets it off. That's the point. She has to come to realization herself that the easiest way out was choice 3. That's it. That's the argument right there. She chose not to do choice 3 because of the fact that it wasn't on her mind. When you're in a situation where their danger is involved, you're not thinking straight. And people have just argued and argued and argued. Then there's people that say that Luna could have stopped it. Read part 2. Or listen to part 2. You'll find out why that was impossible. Or Discord could have stopped it. If he even tried to toy with it, it would have caused the thing to trigger. Did you not hear what Crystal said? Any involvement or like, touching of like trying to get rid of it, dead. I can tell you something that I'm an Aussie and I am 20 years old. Sorry, I had to go on a rant for a minute. And his jobs were made to test his morality and the policy. John basically saying he's a hypocrite because he doesn't pick choices based on the policy but his own thoughts. Yes, health insurance companies in a fucking nutshell. So John was trying to make William Easton realize his policy is bullcrap, and he can't pick who lives or dies. Only the people who have the will to live should be alive. I'm addicted to Saw. The Saw movie that I remember the most is probably Saw 1 and Saw 2. That and the ending to Saw 3D, like the final chapter. I loved the twist with the twist ending in the first one was one of the best horror movie endings ever. Even though it wasn't classified as horror, it was more like a psychological, like a crime thriller. I don't know. I mean, very silent, like a very Silence of the Lambs kind of feel, but no. Then there's I gotta think for a minute. The end to the final chapter. When when Dr. Gordon freaking shows up. Like, people had speculated this from the very beginning. Because in the second movie, if you pay really close attention to when you see the guy in the black robe doing surgery on the guy to put the key behind his eye, you actually see him limping. People speculated that as Dr. Gordon because he loses a leg. Well, technically an ankle. A foot. Ankle to foot kind of thing. And it never showed him actually, at the end of the first film escaping. You don't know what really happens to him. You think he bleeds out, but you never see this. Then you find out in the final movie that he actually managed to plug off the bleeding and survived. Unbelievably, he managed to survive. And became basically John Kramer's assistant, like his lead assistant. So when Hoffman basically killed off Jill, his wife, well, John Kramer's wife. He was advised to do anything. He was advised to act if Hoffman did anything, or if anybody tried anything with Jill, he was to basically act. So what he ends up doing is he basically gets Hoffman. That reveal is amazing, and puts him in the trap that started it all, the bathroom. The ancient bathroom underneath the poison house. I still don't know how that connects. But amazing ending. Then along came Jigsaw, the movie. Yeah, garbage. I hated it. It made no sense. It was just pointless. It was a cash grab for the company, Lionsgate. It literally was just a cash grab. The best scenes are the ones with actually John Kramer, the real John Kramer, in it. There was no good trap. The only good trap was the blender, I think is what it was called. Like the blender, I think is what it was called. The majority of the other traps made 0 sense. That, and you already knew exactly who the killer was when they showed the scars on his back. I'm like, oh my god, you are not doing a good job of hiding who the killer is. Like, I immediately knew that the bodies that were found, like, hanging in, like, the park, the lady that's running and you see the body hanging, I knew those were from the past. I caught on immediately. I'm like, bam, got it. I honestly didn't think you ripped out the friendship test. Thank you, somebody who understands. It was hard to sit through the friendship test because the punishments to the main 6 were much worse than the friendship test. It was hard to sit through Crystal's Revenge. Wow. Sorry, I lost my place. The whole Saw rant about Dr. Gordon was 100% right, so good on you for knowing the Saw movies. I actually never saw the limp until somebody pointed that out, and I actually really paid attention to how he was moving. I'm like, oh wow, hey, that's actually right on point, because he lost a leg. Well, you know what I mean, an ankle. He didn't lose a leg, technically. It was basically a foot. So, Resident Evil movies are bad. Yeah, I agree with that. The games are much better. Much better. I don't play them. I just watch people play them. Like Markiplier. Markiplier is the most enjoyable to watch. The last game that I probably played was the Walking Dead series games. I bawled when I had to kill Lee. Like, I hated that ending so bad, but I was like, I'm not gonna let him suffer. I like this character too much. I'm not gonna let him suffer. It's a sad ending, and I was bawling my eyes out, but it's well done. The second one didn't really get me as much. I chose to kill the lady and for her to go with Kenny to Wellington, I think is what it was called. Garbage here. Be right back. Oh. Okay, that's better. Sorry, garbage man was here, so I had to take care of that real quick. Okay, I don't remember where I was. Oh yeah, we were talking about the Dr. Gordon thing. But yeah, that was very well done. I actually didn't even see that until someone pointed it out. Very well done. Definitely made for the twist ending, because Hoffman was definitely the worst Jigsaw. Amanda technically doesn't count as a Jigsaw because she was more of an apprentice, and Jigsaw was still alive when she died. According to the third movie, it was her test at the cost of another's life. Well, actually, technically, sorry, I'm using the T word a lot. It's actually, I can't remember the guy's fault or the guy's name. The one that basically killed Jigsaw, John Kramer. For real, he like took the spinning saw right across the neck. But yeah, stupid on him for killing his wife. But whatever. I think it's Jeff. I want to say, because I think they called it like slow as fuck Jeff or something like that. I watch Kill Count all the time, so yeah, I think his name was Slow as Fuck Jeff or something like Slow Fucking Jeff. I mean, that's what they called him or something like that. I think that's what his name was. Oh fuck! I didn't mean to do that. Shit. Sorry, TXT Savage. I ended up accidentally deleting one of your comments. Hey, when that happens. Sorry. Also, the pig's head was Kit, who kidnapped Hoffman at the end with Dr. Gordon, are actually two guys from the beginning where they fought over a girl who manipulated them. I don't know. I was just mainly paying attention to Dr. Gordon. Hello, Muhammad Al-Nuridin? I have no idea. We're just basically having a content creator to fan stream. Basically a Q&A. Like, you can ask me anything. We can talk about anything minus, private info. Thank you for saving Kenny. And yes, Lee made me shed some tears. Dave Fennoy was an amazing voice actor. That's private info. So yeah, I saved Kenny because I knew the girl just did not seem trustworthy. And Kenny has been in 2 games. Think about that for a minute. He's more trustworthy than I can't remember her name. I want to say her name was Alice. Something like that. Like, Kenny seemed like a better character. Like, I did all the endings, but I think if I remember correct, they went to Wellington, and I think I ended up having her go with Kenny, not putting her in Wellington. Because yeah, safe havens normally turn into chaotic messes. Like, normally some just get paranoid and just think that someone's on the opposite side of the, of the spectrum. They think they're going crazy or evil or something like that. That's how I thought it. So I had her go with Kenny. Especially considering in the third game, they actually, like, Clementine turns into a freaking badass. Like, don't fuck with her. What's your favorite MLP creepypasta that you haven't wrote or had a part in? Also, the girl on The Walking Dead who you killed instead of Kenny was Jane, who wasn't trustworthy. Oh, Jane. I knew I was close. An MLP creepypasta that I haven't wrote or had a part in. I don't know. I've read a lot. Like, I've read a ton of good ones. I mean, if I honestly had to pick one that I'm currently reading that's really good, it's called A Process of Elimination, and I'm really enjoying that one. It still has a lot of room to grow, and I have no idea where it's going. Like, that's the thing. It's unpredictable and it's just completely you can't really predict where it's going. All I know about it is that Twilight and Octavia are the worst thing to happen to Equestria, so they're the bad guys in this. But they have no idea or I have no idea where it's going. Twilight and Octavia have met. We know Twilight has a problem with her because it's based off of when she gets her cutie mark. When she gets her cutie mark, she like sees Canterlot as like this wasteland, and there's something wrong with her, but she doesn't know what. I mean, she's just a filly when this happens. So, and then we find out a little bit about Octavia's story. Basically, her story is this: her mother. Well, first of all, she's like the black sheep of the herd because she's the only unicorn in a family of Earth. Excuse me, she's the only Earth pony in a family of unicorns. So that's weird, right there. But before Octavia was even born, her mother was like a hot star. Like she was a hot star in Canterlot, basically had a lot of musical potential. She wasn't like she was really good at what she did, but she was also very, very egotistical. And I can't remember if it was Octavia who was, I don't know if Octavia was born yet, but basically she ended up getting ambushed. And while the story doesn't state it, I know she was raped and her horn was decapitated. But in this universe, it actually grew back. She was raped. So the raping, I think, has to do with Octavia because I think she was raped and Octavia was the result. But she uses her daughter for her own selfish reasons, her own gain, basically. That's how I look at it. Like that's all I can really depict from the story. The last chapter that I actually read, I mean, there's a new chapter out, but I want to wait for more chapters to come out. Was this? She meets up with her therapist, and the therapist finds out what she like the problem that she has. Like there's one where she actually saves Blue Balls as a filly, or not filly, a colt, out of not even conscious of about it. Like she saves him from getting killed by another character named Crimson Storm with her magic, but she's completely not even conscious of it because she's having a vision of Blue Blood being killed by Crimson Storm. So she has like a double personality kind of sort of, like one that wants to be bad and another that's like conscious of itself. There's even and during her visit with the therapist, she has a vision of herself killing Blue Blood because, long story short, Blue Blood only befriended her to basically use her for his own gain. She used him to get to Celestia because here's what his plan was. He was planning to basically use Twilight to persuade Celestia into Crimson Storm being like wed to his father so that he could have a connection with his father again while Crimson Storm suffers a horrible life. Yeah, that's screwed up. And Twilight basically says, fuck you. And then he beats the living shit out of her, and Crimson Storm comes to her rescue. Like, basically, Crimson Storm was abused and other stuff by the father of Blue Blood in this story. Like, keep in mind, Colt Blue Blood is the Blue Blood that we see in G4. The father is one that is not even canon to G4. So yeah, that's basically where it left off. So I don't know where it's going, and I don't know the whole aspect between Twilight and Octavia. I'm not sure where it's going, and I'm glad I don't know where it's going. It's completely unpredictable. So should be interesting, and that's what I really like about it. It's the same guy who wrote I'm sorry, Twilight, and have I read anything else by him? No, I haven't. I've got one of my favorites that I'm planning on reading when I get some time. Okay. And no, it's not Bittersweet Apple. It's not Sweet Apple Massacre. I hate that story. I made it to like page 5 on a Wattpad, and I'm like, nope. Do you know about Destroy All Humans? It's a game on an alien based named Crypto to collect human DNA to save its race. And I've heard about it. It's old, but not really something I got into. I wasn't a huge gamer as a kid. In what year did you meet MLP, and what's your favorite pony? I came in during more towards the end of the season 5 hiatus. I had to catch up with the show like really, really quick. Like I came into contact with MLP. Well, I came to know MLP from a friend who basically posted in a group that I was in when I was in a different fandom, saying, "Have you seen like the new episode of MLP or something like that?" And I asked her, "What's MLP?" And they say My Little Pony, and I'm like, "Oh, I've heard of My Little Pony a little bit. I'd only heard the Twilight. I didn't know there was a show, let alone 4 seasons or 4 seasons, 4 generations. Jesus Christ." Yeah, but that's it. Then I start to get into it, start watching the like fan animations. I saw Markiplier's playthrough of the mod version, the My Little Pony mod version of SCP Containment Breach. That was hilarious. And then I started out stupidly. My favorite pony is Rainbow Dash. That's my first favorite pony because, yeah, she was my first favorite one just based off her concept design. But Twilight is definitely the one that matches me the most because I was the loner, the one who didn't talk to anybody. I was the introvert, the one who didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't want to make friends because I had reasons. I was more focused on getting a freaking getting out of school and graduating, literally. I didn't have time for friendship. But I learned, just like Twilight. So yeah, Twilight's definitely my most relatable character, but RD counts as my first favorite because, yeah, it honestly did. So yeah, that's my favorite pony. The first episode of MLP I actually saw was The Lost Treasure of Gryffindor because I wanted to find out more about Rainbow Dash, and there wasn't really much information on her. So I watched that episode, and big mistake because I saw Twilight with wings, and I was like confused. I'm like I started watching the show. I'm like, where's her wings? Why does she have wings? So I just watched the show as fast as I could on, I just basically like binge watched it, and yeah, I liked it. Season 4 finale is definitely what got me because that freaking battle between Twilight and Turek, man, you can't tell me that's awesome. BRB. One I already know. Sisters. Okay. I hope my story turns out well. I'm not a super experienced horror writer, but I try to make the stories make sense and not to use cliches. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard to avoid a cliche. It honestly is. It's really hard to avoid cliches. 1 or 2 is okay. But cliches over and over again, like the slasher horror films, yeah, it's not a good story to go by. That's why whenever I think of writing a story, I always try to go original. I try to think, has this been done before? And if it's been done before, has it been done in this matter? I like to think of original ideas and like to think of things very, original. I don't want to do something that's something somebody's already done, or if it's something somebody's already done, I like to change it up and like switch it up a little bit. Like the friendship test. Friendship test was heavily inspired me to make Chrysalis's Revenge. The second one, Chrysalis's Revenge Endgame, is based off of Saw. I mean, you can see that plain as day with the ending. Even the theme is playing, which is one of my favorite horror themes. I mean, it's hard to avoid cliches, my dude. And if you if you come across at least two, don't worry about it. If it's not cliche after cliche after cliche, you're fine. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to write an original story without getting it in a cliche. It got remade. Cool. Dash, Fluttershy, and Twilight are my favorites. Fluttershy was my first pony I saw when I watched the show. My favorite episode was Philly Vanilli. Dash is my fave character. Otherwise, and I relate to Twilight. I relate to the main six, all of the main six, basically. Like, hang on, allergies. Like, Twilight was definitely me in school. Definitely. Dash, I'm loyal to a lot of people. Rarity, I tend to be generous. Applejack is less me, honestly, but I can't lie for crap, so I'm always honest, and I hate liars. Gotta think. Pinkie Pie is probably the less part of me because I'm not really the guy that likes to make jokes or laugh a lot. I mean, honestly, that's not me. So Pinkie is like the less, character. I'm very kind if people are kind to me back. Yeah, that's 6. I relate to the main 6 in a lot of ways. Fluttershy, I definitely relate to because I'm the shy type. I don't like to really get around big crowds because I'm the shy type. I take a minute to wake up. I take a minute to, get to know people and to really associate. I'm not the one to just jump on board with discussion. It takes a minute for me to actually, get to know somebody and to really trust them because of past issues. Like, there's some relations with me and Rarity. I'm very creative, so me and Rarity share that trait. Even though Rarity is my least favorite character, I'm not a drama queen, so that's good. Dash is very competitive. I'm very competitive, but not to the point where it's reckless. Applejack and me don't connect at all with the hard worker thing. I am not a hard worker. Online wise, yes, I'm a hard worker, but out in the field, nope. What else? I'm trying to think. Fluttershy and Twilight are literally the ones that I relate to the most. The shy types, the ones who focus more on their studies than friendship, because I didn't trust anybody because of bullying, because people abused and used me a lot. That was the main reason why I didn't trust anybody. I mean, it's hard to trust someone when you've been used and abused for their own gain. So I have a legitimate reason why I didn't trust people. I like all main 7 from MLP. So, are you talking Sunset Shimmer or Starlight Glimmer? Because the main 7 of MLP would be Starlight with the main 6. The main 7 from Equestria Girls is basically Sidetwife, the others, and Sunset Shimmer. Which I like Sunset Shimmer and I like Starlight Glimmer. Both are really good characters that were adapted the right way. Rarity's alright. I don't care for Applejack, to be honest. And Pinkie Pie does fourth wall breaks, which I freaking love. Applejack in Pony Life is the fourth wall breaker. They've totally changed the characters around. Like, Twilight really hasn't changed all that much. She's more of a, how do I put this? She's not much different. She's not as big of a bookworm. She's more of a, how do I put this? She's more outgoing, I guess you could say. More the smart, nerd, I guess. The skeptic. Fluttershy is the total opposite. She's more reckless and outgoing. Rarity is all over the place, but she's not the big drama queen anymore. She's actually very funny when she has a dramatic moment. It's actually really funny to watch. Trust me. Pinkie is nowhere near what G4 Pinkie is. Not even relatively close. She's actually a lot more calmed down. She still bakes a lot, but she's very, very Fluttershy-like. Like, she worries a lot. She's a lot different. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Dash, not as competitive and not as egotistical anymore. She's actually really calmed down on the egotisticalness, and she's really, really down to earth. She has the power to time travel. Oh, and one thing about Fluttershy, she can like grow and shrink however she wants. I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask Hasbro. Trying to think. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing one of them. Applejack. Fourth wall breaker, and basically the one who knows what's wrong and what's right. Like, she honestly is the smartest one, minus Twilight. But yeah, the character traits are all different, and it's just all over the place. But I like it. It's actually really good. Minus one episode where Fluttershy is completely out of character. Me too. I like Starlight and Sunset Shimmer. Yeah, a lot of people hate Starlight Glimmer. I love her character. Like, she was the one who was adapted correctly. Like, she was like reformed correctly. Like, it wasn't an immediate change. Like, oh hey, I'm good now. Like Discord. Yeah, we learned that. We learned that lesson in the season 4 finale. Yeah, Starlight went from like communist to straight up head mayor of the school. Like, she went from a character that was horrible and very, very terrible to straight up like one of the most overpowered characters too. Like, being able to take someone's cutie mark, wow, that's powerful. But that's mainly the thing that I liked about Starlight Glimmer. She went from like this not egotistical, she went from communist to actually a very, very smart and like, how do I put this? Relatable character. I mean, a lot of people hate the episode Every Little Thing She Does. I like it because of the fact it shows that Starlight isn't perfect. She still has her little like old habits. Like, old habits don't die that easily. She actually still like very heavily dependent on magic. Like, that's her main go-to. And that's what's going to happen. It's like an addiction. You're going to have those like relapses back to that. So it's not a bad episode in my opinion. Starlight basically has a relapse, thinking that magic is the answer, but she learns quickly that it's not. And she learns how to basically become a friend and do friendship correctly rather than fucking up. And yeah, she learns this and it actually is continuity is made in later episodes. But she becomes a much better character, befriending Trixie, who is also a very much hated character at the time. Trixie was never really a bad guy. She was influenced by bad things, and she was just egotistical. Oh, speaking of that, she actually does appear in Pony Life. Sorry, spoilers. And she is so much better of a character. Her egotisticalness isn't there like it was in freaking like G4. Like, she's even still egotistical at the end of the show, but she's a much better character with a better like sense of what friendship is and how to treat others more equally. And of all the characters in the end, Pinkie is the one who settled down and had a kid. How funny. Also, Granny Smith has been confirmed to have died. Hasbro confirmed it. Yeah, it's basically there when Applejack walks in and she's wearing her little scarf ascot thingy dingy. That's clarification. Also, Goldie Delicious is dead too because Apple Bloom is wearing it when they go into the school. So Granny Smith has passed. I think Big Mac's now the runner of the farm, like the head honcho. Yeah, Pinkie. I had a feeling in the last laugh that Pinkie and Cheese Sandwich were going to end up as a thing because of the fact of how it ends. I thought they were going to become a duo at the end of the episode, and they kind of do after the big fight. Like, they become a couple, they have a kid, and There you go. Twilight turns into Celestia, apparently. Like, that's one thing that I really wish they would have just given Twilight, was a more original design rather than just taking Celestia's rig puppet and recoloring it. But whatever. It's okay. I don't really care. But yeah, it's done well. I really like how they ended. I really like how they ended it. It went full circle. Like, Twilight started out as completely oblivious to what friendship is and had to learn. Now she's got her own student to teach, just like how Celestia taught her how to make friends, what friendship is all about. Sending her to Ponyville to learn. It's coming full circle. Like, we're starting exactly where we began 9 years ago. Well, for me, it would have been 2016-ish. Or whatever the heck answers stuff about MLP. Or whoever. Well, the confirmation comes from the writers and Hasbro themselves, because they're the ones who run the show. They're the ones who write the scripts and all that stuff. And the whole aspect of, Apple Dash being confirmed, I really don't give a crap if it's true or not. Same thing with Fluttercord. I don't mind if Fluttershy is with Discord. I don't care. Same thing with Applejack and Rainbow Dash. I don't care. It's not a big deal. I mean, it can go either way. They left it up to the people to decide. Kind of a big mistake on Hasbro's part, but whatever. It's what it is. You can't really stop it. People are going to have their opinions, and you have to respect them. Either that, or you could just screw off. But that's literally it. What else was there? But yeah, the ending song, perfect, well done. Just coming full circle, and the end scene where all 6 of them are right there, including Spike, so technically 7, with the Rainboom in the background right behind them, the thing that started it all. Boom. Perfect way to end it, just by closing the book and saying goodbye. Was it hard? Yes, it was very hard for me to let it go, but time goes on, and what the last problem was supposed to teach you was that change is a thing. Something that a lot of bronies don't seem to understand. Like, they don't understand that change is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's part of life. Everybody moves on and does better things. Like, people get jobs. People move on to higher arcs. Look at where DeWilstonator started. He was playing Discord on... Bride of Discord, technically, the final episode. Then moved on to Daughter of Discord. And now he's shooting for bigger horizons. Wubcake started out doing just EQG voices. That's it. Basically grew in her voice acting career. Had some bumps along the way, but she is growing into a much better person and a very talented voice actress. Me, I just started out as a fan fiction writer, slowly worked my way up, had some bumps along the way, and had to keep going and growing and learn more and more and more, and I'm still going. I mean, I've still got a lot to learn, voice acting wise. Like, voice acting is just all about being the character and trying to do your best to be that character. It's not easy. It's actually really tough, especially when it comes to that goddamn emotional stuff. Because the problem is, I don't really cry that much. So I really don't know what it sounds like when I cry. That's the problem. So when I hear myself, like, imitating crying, it's really hard to tell if it sounds real or not. And that's the problem. Like, I don't know what it sounds like when I cry because I don't cry that much. The last time I cried was when my cousin who was killed, when her casket on a live stream was shown and her casket left the room. That's when I lost it. Like, I handle death much differently than most. Like, once I know someone is actually gun, that is when it hits. Like seeing someone dead or an announcement that someone I'm close to is dead doesn't get me. It takes like actually realizing you're never going to see this person again that happens. My favorite series I wrote is called The Incident. It's about 5 nights at Treasure Island, except it tells the story of how the characters came to be and describing the main character's mind. Oh, fan series. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I like the lore around it. That's the most interesting part, though. I'm not a huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's because it's just... Okay, 1 scare, good. 2 scare, fine. But once you figure out the pattern and knowing when you're going to get scared, it's not scary anymore. It's boring. Like, a lot of people will disagree with me, but that's my opinion. Honestly, I don't see the big deal. I honestly don't see the big deal. The lore is cool. I like the lore. Like, who is Purple Guy? Who are were put into the suits? You know, who embodies these suits? Who is the, you know, who's Purple Guy? You know, I like that kind of stuff. The lore... YouTube, can we please play nice? Okay. But the lore is nice. I like the fan theories and all that stuff. But other than that, the game is easy to predict after like the first 2 scares. You know who's going to be at what door. You know what's going to happen. You know, the games got better as they went along, especially that one where you have to cross the room in like pitch black darkness and you have to flash like the camera to tell where the Funtime Foxy is hiding. I think that's its name. No, it's not even Foxy. I can't even remember what it's called. But it's basically the Foxy of Sister Location. That scene, like that part of the game is actually really, really scary. Like going into pitch black darkness and all you have is a flash from like a Polaroid to actually tell where the character is hiding. It's actually really nerve-wracking. Like that's actually really well done. It's kind of like there's a part in Silent Hill, I think it's Silent Hill 2, where you lose your basically all your light and you have to go in pitch black darkness and you have to figure out where the monsters are by doing something. It's not easy. I'd personally like it if you would check it out, simply for the reason I need criticism. You have more experience at horror than me, so if you ever watch my stories, give me advice on how to improve them. First, I gotta unblock you so I can find you again. But yeah, just follow my advice and really just don't like comment something that's gonna piss people off. Or if they try to explain it to you, don't like do what you did to me. Just kind of respect their opinion unless they are an asshole about it. Like I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I was just trying to explain to you, you know, what you want to know, and yeah. But enough of the past. I mean, if I could name a YouTuber that you remind me of, it's another reader. His name is the Shadow Reader, and I don't mean the one that was impersonating the guy that I dealt with back in like 2017, 2018. I mean the actual Shadow Reader with a ton of subscribers, because he does all sorts of stuff. Like he does creepypastas. What are they called? Like I don't know how to explain it, but he does all sorts of stuff. But like he doesn't just stick to one thing. Like he does cartoon-based creepypasta, kind of like Squidward Suicide and all those ones, like based off of different cartoons. I mean, it's not that I don't want to check it out. It's just that I don't have the time. It's really hard to just get to those things because my brain is always going a million miles per minute. Plus, I've just been trying to take it easy on myself. I'm autistic. Socializing and communication is the thing I struggle with. Also, ironically, I'm good friends with the shout reader. That's good. Not, I can see where the inspiration came from. I mean, the one that I listened to by him, I didn't care for because it was kind of a little over the top. But it wasn't his fault. It's just the story itself. I can't even remember what it's called. But basically, it's like you rent something from a video store. It's a cursed tape, yada yada yada, ring type shit. But I just as a creator who has dealt with shitheads before, just take my advice and use it wisely. Because the last thing I want to do is like hit somebody else who's you know, an aspiring creator, let alone a narrator that's trying to get up there. I don't want to shit on you because I have been there before. I mean, the last thing I want to do is push someone away. So I'm glad that you actually owned up to your mistake. I mean, honestly, that's really, really good. But I don't know. I really don't like the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I will give it a look if I can find it. But I don't know. We'll see if that ends up happening. No, I'm aware of these things. It's just putting them into place is the thing I'm struggling with. But I'm improving with it and learning how to be more respectful. That's good. Like, I won't lie, back in the day, I left some comments that I regret leaving because of the fact that I was just new and was kind of edgy. Like, the old narration tone that I used, where I was talking like this into a microphone and trying to be creepy when I was killing my voice all along. I call that me, Edgelord Sparrow. Like, that's back in like 2016, 2017, 2018 even. Yeah, that was the bad me. Like, I'm not calling it a bad me, but the narration was terrible. Like, 2016 me was somebody who would basically respond to trolls because I thought I was cool. We all make our mistakes. We all know who we are. We're human. We make mistakes. So the fact that you're owning up to your mistake is really a good sign. I can see that you're changing for the better, which is good. And you know, I have a hard time socializing with people as well. Communication and all that stuff. Yeah, it's hard to really that's why I do these streams, to connect with my fans. Like, I feel like this is the best way to connect with your audience, is to talk to them directly. Well, to the people that do make it to the stream. Because, you know, I'm just one of those people that, you know, if someone like friend requests me on fan fiction, or like not fan fiction, like Discord, and they're just there to be friends because, hey, I'm friends with Sparrow, you know, that kind of thing, I don't like that. So I'll keep them as a friend, but, you know, unless they want to talk to me, they can message me. But if you're just there to, you know, say, hey, I'm friends with Sparrow 9642, you know, whatever. You're not cool for doing that. I mean, that's just you basically saying, hey, I'm friends with someone famous. I'm technically not even famous. I'm famous in a fandom, yes, but I'm not famous in the world. Like, I can go to my local Walmart and nobody would know who I am. Nobody. It's not just FNAF stuff I have written. My first ever original story was a remastered version of the Adventure Time Coma Theory with the new info. Nobody did it, and I'm a fan of the show, so I did it. See, and I don't know Adventure Time all that well. I was never really into it because I was past like that phase of my life. Like, I was too busy with like school, homework, crap like that, in order to even sit down and watch cartoons. I mean, I'm one of those adults that loves to watch cartoons. I really don't, you know, people can call me a child all they want. I don't give a fuck. Cartoons are cartoons. You know, I'm an adult with, I can choose whatever I want to watch. Cartoons are supposed to be entertaining. My mom would still watch SpongeBob. I would still watch Scooby-Doo. I'd still watch Looney Tunes. You know, that kind of stuff. That's why whenever somebody says, haha, you're a bro and you watch My Little Pony, I said, I'll just say, yeah, whatever. Like, they're just trolling, and I know it. And sometimes I'll just respond to a troll to be like, to just laugh, because sometimes I get troll comments that are just so stupid, and I know they're stupid. So I'll just call them out and say, and what are you doing with your life? Commenting in a comment section that's not even relevant to the topic above. You know, that's the best way to hit a troll. But the best way to really deal with a troll is just to kill them with kindness, or just delete the comment. I'm friends with two well-known creepypasta readers, the Dark Reindeer, never heard of them, and the Shadow Reader. But I don't brag about it because who the hell cares? I'm friends with someone because I like them. That's all. That's good. That's a really good mindset to have. You know, I wouldn't say friends. I'd say I'm acquaintances with some big names. Like, I'm friends with like Rebun-chan. I am acquaintances with Scribbler, but I consider her a friend because, you know, we've been through some shit. So we've stood up for each other and have helped to support each other in like certain, you know, things that are important or things that are just fucked up. So while we don't talk that much, we're at least acquaintances. There's another person that I'm friends with. She's not really a big name, I wouldn't say, but she's definitely fantastic at what she does. Luna Farrow. She's a fantastic grimdark reader, and she's just a fantastic person. I talked to her like twice. Like, I've had 2 calls with her, both lasting quite a long time. And I understand she's busy. She's got a busy life. She's got a life. You know, I understand these things. I sometimes message her just to say hello, but if she doesn't answer, I respect that she's busy. You know, I don't try to be a spammy bitch trying to, you know, get their attention. I'm not one of those people to do that. If someone doesn't answer me, I know for a fact they're busy and it's not a good day. So I'll just leave that be and do what I need to do. So there you go. But I'm slowly but surely working on moving just away from MLP and trying to do more, like, not just fan fiction. Trying to do stuff like creepypastas and all that stuff, even though creepypastas are technically fan fiction. Well, actually, no, they're not fan fiction, because a majority of creepypastas are original stories. So I'm trying to get into that place, but the creepypastas normally don't do that well because, well, we know that my channel is based around mostly MLP because that's where it started. But I'm trying to get into different stuff, like getting into diversity to, you know, diversify my options. Like, even somebody asked me, you know, why would you diversify your stuff when MLP is your most successful thing? Here's the thing. If you stick to one thing, it's never going to work. It's like I said, explain to them. It's like, okay, imagine yourself in school. If you stuck to one subject, you're going to fail at everything else. Like, if you only stuck to, like, let's say, science, if you only know that thing, how are you going to pass your tests in, like, other classes, like, you know, math, PE, stuff like that? How are you going to be able to pass those subjects if all you know is science? There you go. There's your answer. You ain't going to know. So diversity is something I'm working on doing. Like, MLP is always going to be the big one, definitely. But I'm working on getting outside of YouTube because we all know YouTube's going down the drain. YouTube is definitely going to eventually kill itself. It's slowly but surely committing suicide. But I really don't know where to start nor what to really do. Like, that's where I'm stuck. So I'm working on it, trying to figure out what I need to do, what's best for me. Like, one thing I've really noticed doing Silent Ponyville is that I tend to overwork myself. So what I'm trying to do is when my freaking mind is starting to get to the point of where I'm losing my mind, I walk away from something for about 2 days and pace myself evenly. Or after a project, if I'm burnt out, and I know I'm burned out, I take at least 4 to 5 days to recollect everything that I need to recollect. I want to get back to a stable mindset, and I don't want to, just do the wrong things. I don't want to push myself too hard. I don't want to hurt myself or work myself to where I'm just going to end up hating what I'm doing. Editing's a bitch. Definitely. Editing is a bitch. But it's part of the job. Like, honestly, that's the worst part of any job is editing. Like, but it's what brings the story to life. It's what brings everything to life and makes it look good and sound good. It sucks, but it's part of the job. And that's how you just got to look at it. Like, how normally my editing process goes is what I'll do is record the main audio. Then, depending on how I feel afterwards, I'll either export the file as like a non-cleaned file, bring it back into Audacity, and then I'll edit it to sound clean, like edit out the mistakes and just fix it to where everything is going to sound good, and then apply the noise gate and make it sound good. So that's mainly that's the first part of the editing process is cleanup. Audio cleanup sucks majorly. It does. Then the second step is adding the backing tracks, like the music, sound effects, yada, yada, yada. That stuff. The stuff that doesn't go on the main narration. So that's always a mother trucker. Like, Chapter 5 of Silent Ponyville nearly killed me. Like, that was a lot of work. And that's why I took my time and paced myself with that chapter, because it was a lot of freaking work. It was a pain. But the final product, listening to it, it was worth it. It took me 2 days to make the backing track, which normally it doesn't take me 2 days. It takes me normally 1 day. But you got to pace yourself evenly. You've got to think of yourself before anything else. I mean, sure, it's bad. I mean, sure, you've got viewers and all that stuff to please, but you got to think of yourself first. You've got to. You can't, if I'm having like seizures while editing, what I've got to do is I've got to take a step away, calm the fuck down, and get back to it. And editing, when you first start out, you're going to suck. Period. Like, you're going to have uneven volume levels. Your mic quality is probably going to suck. It's horrible. Like, editing is not fun. Unless you're somebody who loves editing, it's not going to be fun. Hello, Jed, by the way. Let me just show that. Sticking to one thing is why Flipless Script channel isn't performing as well as he used to. He's a Fortnite story written with 150k views. He has a Fortnite story written with 150k subs. He's stuck to Fortnite, and now it's less popular. Yep, once something loses its popularity, it becomes less likely to get views. That's the point. You got to know how YouTube works as well. And as someone who's been on YouTube for 4 years, I know how it works. YouTube works like this. Whatever is trending, whatever is popular at the time, it's going to get a ton of views. So right now, Has Been Hotel is like something that's huge. So it's going to more than likely attract a big audience. MLP was huge back in like 2015, 2016. That's why my readings got a lot of views and why my channel was recognized, because MLP was still a humongous thing. It still is a big thing. It's just not as big as it used to be because GeForce ended. But is that going to stop me from making readings? Nope. Nope. Editing is a B, but at the end of the day, it pays off hugely. Music sound effects make the freaking video. I learned editing from scratch, and it was a rocky road, and now I'm editing all right. Editing is just all about playing around and just trying to figure out new things, like just experimenting with different things that make a may do something that may be applying, maybe like attracting to an audience. It's like I learned how to add kind of a flicker effect, so that it's like if you have like a setting that's a candlelit room, it's perfect for that, because when candles like flicker, it makes like a flickery like look to a room. So that's something that I like to apply to my stuff. But yeah, editing is a bitch. It is. It's a huge bitch. But that's what makes the video make or break. Period. Once the backing track is done on my stuff, what I have to do is I have to first I have to make sure the tracks are separated so I can apply the effects separately. The main thing that I do before I even add the sound effects and all that stuff, before I add the noise gate, I have to make sure it's at a certain volume so that the noise gate doesn't fade out a certain part of the audio. And in Silent Ponyville, there is a lot of silent parts, like where Pinky's just devastated and she talks like this, like really low. So the mic doesn't catch as much volume. And if you play around with a noise gate, you know that a thing can sound like it's going like a fade out kind of effect. You don't want that, because it can cut off the audio easily. So what I have to do is I have to up it a little bit so that it makes it so it can't do that. Then I have to lower it a little bit again, and then apply the EQ setting that I have for it. I'm going to play around with a new one as well, because I feel like this is the setting that I need for a professional sound. It's one I've been kind of diddling around with, trying to figure out, what I need to do. Plus, I'm not going to lie, music is a helper when it comes to editing, because, well, audio quality, I guess, because the music helps to take out the notice of some things that are in the main track. Like, say there's let me think about this. Like, say there's mouth noise that's very noticeable only if you play the narration. The music focuses the person on the music playing in the background and adds the setting, so that helps to take your focus away from that sound. It kills a lot of it, which is good. That and some stuff that may be caught in the main audio that is being played. Like, I'm not in the most soundproof environment, but I've got a damn good sound. Like, a noise gate helps a lot. For half of my videos, I used a headset, and it wasn't the best microphone audio, but it was bearable. Now I'm using a Blue Snowball microphone, and I'm better with music with sound effects. The Blue Snowball is a good starter mic for a more professional mic. Yeah, a Blue Snowball is definitely a good start. I started out with a headset mic, and then I moved to the Blue Snowball, which I still have. It's on my desk, but now I'm sticking to this bad boy. This is the AG 2020 XLR. I wanted to wait until I knew I was ready for XLR to get an XLR microphone. And trust me when I say this, you need to know what you are doing before you upgrade to an XLR. XLRs are really tricky. Like, you need to know what you need to get. You need to know what you need in order to get an XLR mic. Like the phantom power. If you get a microphone and if you have no audio interface, then it's not going to work. The audio interface is what powers these mics. So, yeah, you need to know how to adjust your gain right. You need to know how to set up the microphone, the phantom power that it needs, if it needs phantom power. All condenser mics like this one need phantom power, which all phantom power really is. It's hard to explain. Like, it's an extra boost of power that applies to the microphone so that it can have just a little bit more boost of power. Like, I don't know how to explain phantom power to you. Gain is like your volume lever. You need the right cord. Like, some people use like a XLR to USB. That ain't gonna work. You need an XLR to XLR head, like a female to male XLR cable. That's what you need in order to make an XLR work. That and these can be optional. You can either monitor what you're recording or not. What I mean when I say monitor is you're hearing what you are saying into the mic. That, and of course a pop filter. Pop filters are really helpful. But one thing that people underestimate, they think pop filters are meant to stop pops 110%. That's not the case. Pop filters are only meant to kind of stop it from attacking the diaphragm directly. Like what happens, like, sorry, plosives incoming. Please bring pizza pronto. Like I can even see it like shaking the pop filter. What a plosive is when you emit like if you ever have, messed around, like put your hand out in front of your mouth and say something like pizza or pop, you'll feel like air hit it. You'll feel air hit your hand. And that is what a pop is. What causes that little explosion sound in your audio is the air. It's not the sound, it's the air. It attacks your diaphragm of your microphone, which the diaphragm of your micro is the diaphragm? Whatever it is. The thing on your microphone that's meant to catch your sound and turn it into audio waves. That if that thing gets attacked too much, it can easily break your microphone. Every microphone has one, and basically when it hits it at full force and it causes a pop. Like a little explosion sound. If you've ever watched like sports programs and you hear like the broadcasters that have the mic like right here to their face, you'll hear you'll hear them say like a B or a P or a T, something that's going to create a bass sound, and you'll hear the pops. Like the thing that's covering the mic, that's what is the pop filter, but it's not stopping it 100% because it's right there at the mouth. Like pop filters are meant to stop the air from getting through all the way. They're specifically designed in a certain pattern to break up that air so that when it gets to the diaphragm of the mic, it doesn't hit as tough. Like what I used before was a sock. It worked to a certain extent. Like 2 socks. I used 2 socks and it only worked to a certain extent. The best thing you can probably do is get a pop filter like this one, and then maybe another one to cover the diaphragm of your microphone behind the pop filter. I've seen Screw Attack does this, or Rooster Teeth, when they're recording for like what's their name, Wiz and Boomstick. Yeah, they have that set up so that they don't get any pops whatsoever. Or even a sock helps. Trust me, the pop filter does its job, but only to a certain extent. So if you have an extra layer right there that covers the outside of the microphone and breaks the air up even more than likely you're not going to get a pop. But if you get one, please, please, please take it out. The last thing someone who's editing wants to hear is a pop, or a plosive is what's called in the recording industry. For having videos edited, okay. And music and sound effects is all volume equalization. Like volume levels just need to be low enough where you can hear the narration coming through, depending on what you're doing. But the music can't overpower the narration, otherwise it's going to be distracting. Like it's tough sometimes, but you just have to learn how to equalize your volume levels. Hardest thing for me is when you have to mix in something like laughter or like screaming or anything like that while the narration is talking. That's the tough part, because you have to lower it low enough to where it's not distracting in the narration, but it's also hearable at the same time. That's the trickiest kind of mixing. I'm an adult and I love cartoons too. And I feel you, swear I would miss you if I left YouTube, and don't worry, Sparrow, we will support you. So Sparrow, if you watch my older videos, at a certain point, you may notice my microphone audio changes, and sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it's loud. I was experimenting with that. Over multiple videos, my mic audio may be louder, but with more static, or more quiet, but with no static. But from my experience at River Country, and until this day, my microphone quality remains the same. How to fix that little issue is to go into your Audacity recording volume settings and to set it to a certain extent. It shouldn't move one bit, because when it's just your recording volume in Audacity manually, that's what it should stay at. I record at 50% because this sucker is sensitive. So when I'm in my recording position, I'd say about right here, I don't know. Here, I'll just read this. Over multiple videos, I already even hear a plosive, so maybe I'll move it away a little bit. Over multiple videos, my mic volume may be louder with more static, or more quiet, but with no static. But from my experience at River Country, and until this day, my microphone quality remains the same. It's good to monitor your audio so that you can hear yourself, because it saves you a lot of problems in editing and a lot of re-records. The audio issue is fixed due to my Blue Snowball, so the vids over a month or two, the audio will be a lot better. The Blue Snowball does take some toying around with to get correctly. It's just a matter of patience and just playing around with your audio quality. Equalization is more of a thing that you should worry about if you're going to really be doing something that is really worth that much effort. Like when I started out, what I did was recorded, took out the mistakes manually, and that was it. And put a loop track in the background. Problem. Very big problem. I didn't I listened back to those readings and I'm no noise reduction or anything, and I'm just cringing in freaking absolute horror that used to be my audio quality. Now I basically go through steps. I have to audio clean up manually, then I have to up the quality or up the volume a little bit if it's too low, add the noise gate, lower it again, then I have to take out the plosives manually by listening through again. By the time I'm done with a reading, I don't want to hear it ever again, honestly. But once the plosives are done and I know the audio is clean as it's going to get, that's when I move to the second step, which is adding in the background stuff, which can take quite a while depending on the length of the story and depending on, I don't know how to explain it. Either if it takes, it depends on the length of the story and the amount of what is in the story to make a backing track. The best example of change in my mic audio is in the videos I did on Lavender Town Syndrome and on the story Pokemon Faded Sun. Faded Sun is rather quiet, and Lavender Town seems completely different. I really don't know Pokemon, so I can't really even judge on that. But, how to explain this? Basically, don't try to be somebody else like I was back in 2016. Don't try to be somebody else while recording or narrating. Be yourself. That's the best way to figure out where your voice lies the best. And if you're just a starter, don't worry about reverb. Echo. Echo. This mic is really good at not catching reverb. It's actually really good. As long as I'm close to it, it catches my voice perfectly. Also, you may notice that, it's not right in front of my mouth. That's because I'm using the off-axis routine, the off-axis routine is just a fancy way of saying a not getting plosives like crazy. It's also a technique if you have a script in front of you, you can do your script. That's one thing I didn't anticipate when I got this, was the big black pop filter being in front of my face. So it's a bit of a bugger to deal with. But rest assured, it is actually very helpful. Like, it doesn't take plosives out 110%, but it helps. Like, I can actually see my script in front of me on my computer screen. So it helps miraculously. Posture is also really important. Mic placement's really important. Like, as long as you can hear yourself well in your headphones, that's why I say monitoring headphones. These cost me around $54. They're the ATH MX20X. They're basically the Audio-Technica monitoring headphones, and it's the very cheapest one. It's like $54. Just need a audio interface. Well, you don't even need an audio. You don't even need an audio interface if you're planning to record for, like, well, if you're not, well, basically these are for like if you have like an audio interface. If you're using an XLR mic, basically. But if you don't even worry about it. But if you plan to upgrade in the future, definitely get monitoring headphones. These ones are perfect. They're $54 with the tax added. Yeah, $54. And they're fantastic. Excuse me. The reason why I messed with the audio on those videos was to remove the interference noise. I wanted my audio quality to be nice, but my Blue Snowball fixed that by giving the perfect balance of good audio, but no interference. Interference is normally caused by two things. Wires on top of one another. Like if a wire is connecting with another wire on something, it can cause interference. Or if like a phone or something of like an electronic device is nearby, that's going to cause interference with the audio. Things like that can cause interference easily. It's not fun when you're trying to record for something and that happens. It normally means you have to re-record something. Like normally if I do a long recording, like Chapter 5 and Chapter 4 of Silent Ponyville took me an hour and a half to finally get done. It also had re-recordings in it. Like sometimes you can tell when I do a re-recording and sometimes you can tell when I don't do a re-recording. Or sometimes you can't tell when I do a re-recording. Because sometimes I just kind of go like, okay, my voice is in this tone, so I need to do my best to match that. As a when you get to the professional level, you learn how to do these things correctly. That and music also adds like help. Like music also helps miraculously. Yeah, one of the things about doing audiobook narration or even just fanfic readings, you have to be able to, like, if you're doing like a 6,000 word reading, it's going to be at least an hour in the recording booth, depending on how well you don't fuck up. My brain tends to be a dick whenever I try to read because every other freaking line I mess up. So, yeah, that's annoying. But yeah, an hour and a half in a recording booth, it gets hot, it gets uncomfortable, your voice gets tired. You know, things just start to get out of control. And it's really nothing that you can prepare yourself for. You just need experience with recording for longer periods of time. Like, look at this right now. I'm at 2 hours and 14 minutes. And my voice is kind of a little sore, but not even relatively close to any other time. Like, as you go along and you get more experience, it doesn't really, like, that pain in your throat doesn't start to get as, evident. Unless you've been recording for like 3 hours. So, yeah, just bring some water with you and do your best. Like, make sure the mic's in a good position. Make sure you're ready. Like, that your voice is at 100%. Make sure your mouth is hydrated because of mouth noise. That's another good thing with monitoring headphones is it catches your mouth noise. Stuff that you can't normally catch if you're open-eared. Like, it's hard to catch it every once in a while. But it's easier in the editing process. That's all I'm saying. But don't upgrade to an XLR mic if you know you're not ready. If you don't feel like you're ready, you're not ready. So when you feel like you're confident in your recording ability and you feel like you've got a big enough following to actually go for it, then upgrade. Like, if you don't feel you're ready, you're not ready. And it's like I said, an hour and 30 minutes is a long time in front of a microphone and reading a script. Even if you take breaks in between, it's still a long time. I mean, think about the My Little Pony VAs. They actually are stuck in a booth for sometimes 4 to 5 hours a day. Well, not a day, but on the day that they go in to record. It's not fun at all, but it's part of the job. Also, my old headphones I recorded my old vids with broke, so I have a wireless headset. So me getting on Blue Snowball was the best choice. So I had a mic to use when my headphones broke. The thing is with the Blue Snowball, you can't actually monitor. That's the Blue Yeti that does that. And even sometimes some people that I've talked to that have Blue Yetis say that the monitoring like latency, like how on point it is with your voice, like there's no like lag and it's like right on time with your voice talking. Yeah, it tends to be a bugger. Like it's never on point. Depends on your PC and depends on the mic itself as well. But XLR, normally you don't even have that problem. The only problem with this one is you have to be careful with this wire. This wire is hella long. It's like 10 feet long. So you just have to kind of keep it within a certain, like let me show you. I've got this wire wrapped up and like connected to my mic stand so that it doesn't go anywhere. Like it's like within this vicinity right here, so that I don't get it like tugged on, I don't step on it, I don't do anything that's gonna hurt it. So yeah, I just gotta be careful because these can't be replaced. The wire in it is the wire that comes with it. You can't replace the wire. So that's all you gotta be careful with. The like the ATMX, whatever they're called, the ATHMX 30. Yeah, the 30s have the ability to actually disconnect the cord and replace it with another one. But they have that's really the only difference, and the fact that they can rotate a little further, like off your head. Like if you put them on your neck, like they can like, rotate out further than these ones. But that's really the only difference. So if you have like the ability to like just keep your cord to a certain length, yeah, these are perfect for you. Like they say, even reviewers say that the ATH-MX 30s have about the same exact latency and the same exact sound as you would get out of the ones that I've got, the ATH-MX 20s. Now, I want to go full blow on the MX 50s because they're more for a DJ. They're very expensive, first of all, but the thing about them is that they're more for a DJ. Like they're more for like somebody who is into the music industry and wants to hear every inch of sound that they possibly can. That's it. Okay. My Blue Snowball. My Blue Snowball does its job, and I have 179 subs. So your logic of don't go for professional mic. I saw your other thing, microphone, unless you're ready and if you have a big following, applies to me. I got into MLP in 2018, and the YouTuber that I watched that got me into MLP fandom was Scribbler and her comics and her grimdark stories. You're fine, dude. Yeah. My Blue Snowball lasted me for 2 years, but once I felt confident enough to really, take that extra leap, I decided to do your research, be very careful. Like the person that I went to asking, what's the best mic for a starter was Wubcake. Wubcake is a freaking mic like geek. She's a geek. She knows what she's talking about. So I asked her, and she said the AT2020 XLR or the what is it, like the MXL770, I think is what it was. both inexpensive microphones. Like this one, only $100. For the mic. Keep in mind, the mic only, not with the wire, not with the mic arm. Excuse me, and the audio interface. It's only the mic itself. Now, the MXL, I think it's either 770 or 990, one of the two. So what I did was I went to a review with these two mics, and I listened very closely to what they sounded like, and I like the AT2020 better because the MXL had just a little bit of a nastier noise floor. Which, if you don't know what a noise floor is, it's basically how much noise it catches around it. Which any sound like a door slamming or like a car going down the street, it's always going to catch that. That's loud. Anything that's loud enough for this to catch, it's going to catch it. But it's so much better than my Blue Snowball, like so much better. I mean, when I basically tested this thing and I listened back to it, I'm like, oh my God. It sounded so clear and crisp and just perfect. Other things you need to research what you need in order to use this microphone. Again, you need the phantom power of 48 volts. You need the audio interface, which audio interfaces vary in price. I got the Behringer UMC 22, which is around $70 when I got it. I think the price has gone up a little bit. I don't know what it's sitting at right now, but it's a good interface. If you're just doing stuff like what I'm doing, yeah, perfect. It's perfect for you. Like, it's got one knob for gain. It's got, what's this one for? Oh yeah, the instrument. Like, if you're a musician, you can, and you have like the correct setup to use an instrument. There's a volume lever for it. Then there's a direct monitoring button, which you can turn your monitoring off or on. Again, monitoring is just hearing yourself in your headphones. And then there's a volume lever for how loud you want to hear yourself in your mic, in your headphones, which I have to have mine turned up full blast because otherwise I can't hear myself. So the audio catching is a little low, but it's okay. It's a fantastic microphone. I've never clipped with this thing except for instrumental stuff. This thing is actually very inexpensive and very affordable and really good. It's it plugs into your computer through USB port. Fantastic mic, or fantastic interface. The cord that I got mine in a package. Like, mine came with this mic, it came with the cord, it came with a mic arm, and did I say the cord? Pop filter, mic arm, cord. That's what it all came with. I had to buy the audio interface separately, and I had to buy these headphones separately. It all came in the first package, $110. You cannot ask for any better deal than that. People on the review said that the mic arm was tended to come loose. Mine, it hasn't moved. Like, once I attached it to the desk, it hasn't moved an inch. The mic arm's very adjustable, really nice, really easy to set up. It just hooks onto your desk. Like, I think they've changed it a lot since it first was like released. Like, they used to have a nasty rubber padding on it, which would like fray out if you wanted to like move the mic arm somewhere else. It wouldn't connect as easily. It's not even moved. So yeah. Other than that, it's a pretty simplistic microphone, or it's a simple mic stand. The toughest part about this whole entire thing is basically threading the microphone wire so that it doesn't get all over the place. Like, it's a 25-foot, I think it's a 25-foot mic cord. Yeah, I think it's 25 feet. So that's a lot. Like, unless you have like a mic that's like extending from an interface like clear across the room, yeah, you want to thread this thing down the mic arm. Otherwise, yeah, bad things. So, yeah, The pop filter is good for what it does. I think I'm gonna get a second one just in case, so that I can cover this part of the microphone, just to see if it works. Which I'm pretty sure it does, but I don't know. I'll do my research. But if anybody plans to get a microphone like this, do your research, please. It's very important. What was the hardest Grimdark to get into? And narrate. What? What was the hardest Grimdark to get into and narrate? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand, Ninja Droid. I'm kind of confused. The only thing about these headphones, like you can see, the comfort level is not the best. Like, that's one thing that was one of the cons of these headphones. But normally I'm only in a booth for so long before I have to take these off. Basically, it takes a while for them to conform to your head and to really get comfortable. Like, you have to use them very frequently in order to really get used to them. But other than that, they're actually pretty comfortable. But after a while, it starts to get sweaty and it starts to get uncomfortable. So what I normally have to do is I have to take off like a cup, and I have to just kind of give my ears some breathing room, then put them back on. But other than that, they sit on your head nice and light. Like, they're good for what they are. But the comfort, it varies. Like if I'm in a recording booth for an hour and a half, normally I'm too focused on what I'm doing to really worry about the headphones, so I don't really worry about it. Editing, though, when I'm editing, it turns into a bugger. That's when, because editing can last up to 6 hours. So yeah, about 3 hours in, I normally have to take them off and take a break. Excuse me. But that's the only thing about these headphones that's really the con for me. So, like, probably around 3 hours is when they start to get uncomfortable. Like, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, it's about 3 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, because I'm noticing on the thing it says 2.5 hours. I put these on at the beginning of the stream, so I'm having to take them off, just kind of scratch my ear, but that's it. Other than that, they're pretty comfortable. They sit light against your head. They're not heavy on your head at all. They're actually really, really comfortable. Again, Ninja Droid, I need you to confirm whether or not I have that correct. If that's the case, the hardest Grimdark for me to narrate and really get into, yeah, please confirm that a little better. I'm kind of confused. Because if that were the case, it'd be Silent Ponyville. Silent Ponyville has been a challenge, definitely a humongous challenge. But that's just something that comes with the job. Like, every narration is tough, especially in horror. Like, when it jumps from like happy to sad to, I think he meant to say, what was the hardest to narrate, get into, and edit? Probably Silent Ponyville, if I'm being honest. And I'm not saying that just because it's the most recent one. It actually is legitimately hard to do all of those. It wasn't hard to get into. It was just hard to, like, because what you normally do before you even narrate a story is you read it. So I read Silent Ponyville first before I even thought about editing or reading it, like narrating it. So I read it first. Definitely. I read it first. Then narrating it, okay, first chapter, not that tough. But when it came to like chapter 4, chapter 5, editing and narration got tough. Like when you're jumping from like happy to sad to dark as hell, yeah, it's all over the place. Like if Silent Ponyville hadn't been on the channel, that the one that would have been closest to that would have been Cupcakes, because Cupcakes goes from like a happy story to just a fucked up story. It's really hard to kind of do a different twist like that. But Silent Ponyville has its moments where it's normal, fine, simple. But then there's the fact of like chapters like chapter 4 and 5, where things get difficult. Even chapter 2, when Pinkie is being chased around by the thing. Yeah, I have to jump into like and it chased her, and she, I don't even know how to put that. Like, on the floor was a half filly. I have to get into a different tone of voice to make it sound more fitting for the scene. And that's what I like to do. I'm that kind of narrator. I like to get into a certain tone of voice so that it fits better to like the ear for the person that's listening, and to really get that sense of danger, and the things have gone from like, happy to like dark as hell. My hardest video to record, narrate, and edit was my 1 hour long marathon for me hitting 100 subs. 7 stories in one vid. Counting it all up, it took me 6 hours to make. Yeah, that'll do that. Sometimes I have audition. Wow. Sometimes I have narration streams where I just read stuff with friends, but I haven't done one of those in a while. I need to talk to Rebound again to see if there's actually a chance that she could do that again. That was fun. How many Silent Ponyville stories are there? Well, if we're going technical, 3. Because Silent Ponyville 4 has been canceled because of the fact that the author just ran out of options. I'm dedicated to my subscribers. They are the flesh and blood of my channel. Same here. They are. They're the ones that keep the channel going. If you don't have a fan base, then you don't have nothing. You have no motivation to keep going. You have nobody to think, that kind of stuff is the important part. You have to remember to respect your audience. Otherwise, yeah, you seem like an egotistical person. That's why I have these streams to talk to my fans. Even if it's only like 3 people commenting, I will still talk to them. I'm a nice guy. Sure, I do freaking fucked up stories, but you can't judge me off of that. They're just stories. I'm the guy that I am in real life. I'd never kill anybody. I don't have it in me to kill somebody. Yeah, I would. I get squeamish at the sight of blood, people. So there you go. If I know it's fictional, then I know it's not real, and therefore I don't get as squeamish as I do around real blood. Like when I get a nosebleed and I I wipe my nose and I see like blood in my hand, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, it doesn't scare me as much before, but yeah, it's still pretty unnerving. 3 people want me to open a Patreon to donate money to me. That's crazy. People enjoy me so much they're willing to pay me. Patreon, I don't know how the policy goes now. I made a Patreon just because of the fact of this. Just because of the fact, like, how do I put this? That Patreon was moving forward to a new policy where you had to pay a certain amount of money per month to keep your Patreon open, I think was the thing. So yeah, the Patreon's there just to be there for now. When I get higher into stuff and really start to like build something, that's when I'll really like get serious with my Patreon, because I just have a lot on my plate. I really don't have time for that stuff on my Patreon, but I don't know. It's a maybe. Because I thought I have an idea for a pony. Well, you have choices. If one of your choices is either Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, kind of Rainbow Dash as well, Octavia, or Twilight, then you're out of luck. Those are already done. Because Silent Ponyville kind of revolved around Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash because of the fact that Rainbow Dash went to Silent Ponyville with Pinkie Pie. I want to say there was another one that went too. I think there was. Twilight cast a spell. It was a rarity. It was a rarity. Rainbow Dash definitely went. Pinkie Pie went. Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy. Yep, that's it. Well, Silent Ponyville in Equestria Girls has never been done. Not to my understanding, not done well at least. Plus, Silent Ponyville is really, really, really hard to kind of write because of the fact the concept of Silent Hill is to confront your worst demons, like to go through hell and to confront your demons to figure out why you're there in the first place. In the case of the games, that's the thing. They're brought to Silent Ponyville. They're brought to Silent Hill to confront their demons and to go through hell to figure out why they've been having nightmares or why they've been coaxed to Ponyville, to Silent Hill. It's not a fun journey. But if you want to go for the idea, go for it. I mean, nobody's stopping you. I'm sure that Sam Rose or whatever his real name is would be fine with it. I mean, he created it, so. And he says that he's open to anybody who wants to continue like Silent Ponyville 4. He has ideas for the chapters that he wanted to write, but he's just too busy and out of ideas. So. Sunset Shimmer wouldn't be good because she's already confronted her demons and is already proven herself to be reformed and is more than reformed. She has proven herself to basically be completely like a whole new pony. Well, person, technically. How long have we been going? All right. Probably going to close off the stream probably maybe at the 3-hour mark. I really like how the connections in Silent Ponyville 1 are made, especially when it comes to like the ending. Well, not really the ending, but the ending to Silent Ponyville. I don't know how to put it. I have a disability. It's called CP, and I've gotten low self-esteem and anxiety. Don't worry, I've got loving dad and uncle that listen to my problems. That's okay. I'm an epileptic. I sometimes go through some depression spells and have a hard time with certain things. It's like I've said on Twitter before. I sometimes struggle when I'm narrating. Sometimes I struggle and fuck up because my brain just does not want to play nice. So unfortunate. But I still do what I do, and even though it's a pain in editing, it's still a thing. The Dark Author himself exists in my written stories. Now, when I make original stories, I'll add something subtle, like a music change or a character saying something to acknowledge he's there. Don't worry, I'm just stretching. I've never really included my OC in the stories. He would actually be a good candidate for Silent Ponyville because of the fact of his past. But I don't think I'm really in the. I'm not experienced enough of Silent Silent Hill to really write a story like that. Not to mention I'm terrible with riddles. And Silent Hill is full of that. I need more coffee. I'll be right back. Oh, jeez, minis. Oh, you're. All right. Let me close that. There we go. All right. The Dark Author basically hangs around in the background. He will never step in and act in the story unless he's the main focus. Him being mentioned in the stories is the reason why he knows the stories. I like cameos. I really do. That's one thing I really. That's why I really enjoy watching like audio drama style stuff, like Pinky Tales or like Remembrance, because I like the cameos in the background. Why are you so high? But I really do enjoy the cameos. The cameos are one of my favorite things. I did make a cameo in one of Scribbler's things, the latest chapter of Bear's Love Story than Twilight 5 or 4. I don't know. Did I see the teaser trailer for the new Batman video game? No, I'm not a huge fan of I'm not a huge fan of video games. Not a video games guy. I just prefer to be I like to stick to what I'm good at. So I read a lot of stories. What's the word? I stick to what I know. I have played video games in the past. Like one of the best ones that I recently played when I had my bottom wisdom teeth pulled was Fire Emblem Awakening to just pass the time. It was fun. It was fun playing that stuff again. But yeah, cameos are one of my favorite things in like anything. I love cameos. Like my OC, he could appear anywhere, honestly. He's more of a loner and traveler. So he could appear anywhere in Equestria, honestly. Even though he wasn't really a part of the Equestrian Age. He came before the Equestrian Age. But he lived on into the Equestrian Age of Celestia and Luna. Was even a scholar. Well, not a scholar, but he was part of the construction of Canterlot Castle, and was even offered to be a scholar by Celestia and Luna because of his knowledge. But of course the curse that he had stopped him. I'm doing a live stream right after this one. I don't know what game I will play. I play games on Fridays and Saturdays is because I don't have access to my PC then. It's just a little bonus content. That's good. I honestly don't know when I'm going to record the ending for Silent Ponyville. I'm thinking about doing maybe it tomorrow or... Let's see, what's today? No, tomorrow would be a bad day because Silent Ponyville Chapter 4 is going to be premiering, so I don't want to be in the middle of editing when that premieres. So maybe Sunday or Monday, one of the two. So I'm going to have to read over that again just to get a good bearing for what I'm getting myself into, like just to see if there's a word in there that I may not be aware of. And just to, just remember, what I need to do to get a good feel for it before I do it. Because one of the biggest things that you can do as a narrator is read the story at least not 3 times, but if you're doing a multi-chapter, first, if you plan to read the story, read the whole thing. If it catches your attention, then you're good to go. But read one chapter at a time, at least 3 times each before you even record it. Me, I feel like I'm experienced enough to really read it only once and really have a good feel for it. Even though my enunciation can sometimes sound weird, like some of the words I hate the most while recording is gasp or asked. Because if you notice, I have to really like open my mouth. They are really, really difficult words. Like, especially if you're speaking quickly. Like, let's say like a Twilight line comes up and I say, Twilight asked. Like, see that? Like, that sounds weird. It sounds chopped up. So how it actually comes up is like this. Twilight asked. If you listen to any professional narrator, they say the same thing. Like, it sounds wrong, but honestly, it goes by so quickly, people don't even recognize it. I mean, even when you're talking like regular, you say, oh, I asked him to go to the store. See what I mean? It happens. Like, I know in narration you're supposed to enunciate, but certain words, if you enunciate them, sound so chopped up that it doesn't sound right. Like, Twilight asked Spike. Like, see how long that takes for that to get out when you enunciate it? It takes much longer if you just went, Twilight asked Spike. Yeah, that was bad. Twilight asked Spike. See what I mean? It takes longer for it to get out and doesn't sound choppy. Or it doesn't take as long to get out and isn't choppy. Like, what I mean by choppy is that it just doesn't sound right. Like, asked. That's like asked. Like, it's like there's like stutters in between. It doesn't sound right. Gasp is a much different story because it's a tricky word to just say. Like, he gasped. So it comes out more like gasped. Like, that's one that you can enunciate. Like, you just got to get that P correct. Otherwise it goes, he gasped. Enunciation is like every narrator's worst nightmare. Because it's just a skill you can't master. You can try, but it's not easy. It's really tough to like master enunciation because there's certain words that just they are horrible. So yeah, the Dark Arthur will never do anything major in my stories unless he's the main character. He will cameo, like, I don't know, work in a shop or someone sees him and wonders who he is. So like Stan Lee shows up for a few minutes in Marvel films. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that guy. Honestly, I am. I mean, rest in peace, a legend. But yeah, one thing that every narrator needs to work on is enunciation. It's tough, but trust me, it's worth it. It's just when you get to certain words that sound choppy, if they sound choppy, normally the latter way is to go. Like asked, that sounds so freaking like broken up. So just like Twilight asked Spike. Like, that's easy. But with words like gasp, you need that P in there in order for it to, sound correct. Twilight gasped as Spike took something. I don't know. It sounds weird, but with practice and a lot, like, just dry read to yourself a lot. Or don't dry read, but, take a book, read it to yourself, and if you come across a word like that, just try and do your best to enunciate it without it sounding like choppy. This is why I like being able to hear myself as well, so that I can hear what a word sounds like when I say it. Otherwise, I have to do a re-record. It's like there was a line in underneath. It's towards the end, like she had just touched like she had just touched the desk or touched the stove top. Like she had just touched the stove top. That sounds so freaking choppy. And it's really hard to get it out, but if you just say, as if you just touched the stove, yeah, see what I mean? It's not easy. Enunciation is not easy at all. It's actually really tough. And Scribbler, anybody that's a high name in the My Little Pony fandom, or any narrator for that matter, will tell you the same exact thing. It's a pain in the rear to get down, but it's just part of the job. But yep, that's just one of the things about being a narrator. Oh man. But we got about 8 minutes. So yeah, that's just do your best. And if you're just barely starting out, don't really worry about being perfection. Like, don't worry about being a perfectionist. You just got to do it well enough to where it fits well enough. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but to where it doesn't sound like shit. Like, honestly, like, take out every mistake. Don't be lazy. Even if it's a looped track, it's music. Like, just make sure your audio levels are good enough and just enough to be enough. Like, that's the best way to put it. I mean, I hear so many people that are new to it freaking out because they want to be like Lost or Mag or anybody who is more professional in narration. When you start out, you're going to be rough around the edges regardless. You're going to be new to it. Unless you've had prior experience, you're going to be rough around the edges. So the best thing to do, and allergies are just not playing nice today. Best thing you can do is just do your best. Just know the basic editing tools, noise reduction, like noise reduction, taking out mistakes, and not making it sound like absolute crap. And of course, not raping your viewers' eardrums. Make sure your levels are nice and clean, not peaking at 0 on the audio scale. Like, just be sure that your audio sounds good enough to where it's not killing your eardrums. Like, if it's hurting your ears, it's going to hurt your viewers' ears. So if it hurts your ears, it's going to hurt their ears. Turn it down. Just basically look around for tutorials, things that can help you. What helped me to go from like doing audio on every separate single track, Lost's old editing streams. I found them and I looked very, very closely at what she was doing, and I'm like, oh my god, this just saved me a ton of fucking work. So yeah, that helped me very much. The best thing you can do is take constructive criticism and learn how to learn from others, the more experienced people that know what they're doing. Like, don't worry about EQ, don't worry about your tone, don't worry about anything like that. Just take out the mistakes and make it as perfect as you can do. Perfection will come with time. Like, making your stuff sound high quality is going to come with time, learning and experiencing more stuff as you go along. And don't worry about your subscriber count. Like, honestly, don't. Like my friend Webcake told me, subscribers are just a number. It's just a number. It's your audience, yes, but it's just a number. So if you need to like if you feel like your stuff is if you feel like you're ready for something like, what I've got, a good microphone, don't be afraid. If you feel like you're ready, then go for it. Just do your research and don't purchase something unless you're 110% sure you know what you're getting yourself into. You don't want to invest a ton of money in something that you're going to regret. I mean, do your research, make sure that the mic has good views, make sure you know what the hell you're doing. I'll tell you what, it's going to cost you over $100 at least to get a good microphone. Audio interface is varying in price. This one cost me around $70. It's a good interface. I mean, sure, I get these little clips here and there, but that's just Audacity, and that's just some things that come with mics. So don't expect it to be perfect, and don't expect everything to be perfect. It's all a matter of hard work, determination, confidence in yourself, all the 9 yards. It's all, and most importantly, just like I told TXT Savage, do not, if you're someone who is criticizing someone else who knows what the hell they're doing, if they come back with a decent response and are not trying to rant your ass, don't be a jerk. Be nice. Because especially if it's someone that you idolize, don't treat them like shit unless they treat you like shit. I responded very, very nicely and just confirmed things that he didn't seem that he put wrong. But I applaud him for, coming onto stream, telling me face to face that he was sorry. So I applaud you for that. That shows that you're a really, really good person and you actually admit to your mistakes. And you're actually coming to me on stream, actually apologizing and let me know, dude, I screwed up. Just work on if you're going through a hard time, the best thing you can do is walk away from the internet. The internet is probably the worst place to be in a depression spell, unless you're listening to something like calming music or something like that. Yeah, that's the best thing you can do. But if someone comments with something like constructive criticism, and it's actual constructive criticism, if someone tells you, "Oh, your shit's awful," that kind of crap, ignore it. But if they're pointing out flaws that can be fixed, listen to them. They are trying to help you, and they are not trying to downgrade you. They're trying to help you to get better. That's the best thing you can do. I mean, I've been told off a few times on how some stuff sucked, but I listened to them and look where I am now. Someone told me that I need to apply noise reduction, and I told them, well, I really don't know how to do that, and so they helped me out. So there you go. But yeah, just listen to other people and learn from them. Go to Lost Soul editing streams on her channel, The Lost Extras. It'll teach you a lot on how to equalize your volume the correct way with the Amplify tool and Audacity, depending on what editing program you use. If you don't use Audacity, it's free. It's fantastic. It's great for beginners. It just takes a while to get used to and to learn. But just do your research. If you plan to get a new mic, do research. Research anything that you don't really know about, and just do your best. That's the best I can tell you. If I have time, I will check out your stuff. I'll just have to find you again. But that's really all I got for you guys. Just do your best and keep being awesome. And yep, that's all I've got for now. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and yep, I love talking to you guys. I'll see if I can do this every other Friday from now on, or every Friday from now on. Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Talk to me. I'm more than happy to talk to my fans. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time, and make sure to take care until next time, and stay safe and stay isolated. Bye bye.